Well, we have in our Abuja studio Professor Olusola Adeyeye. He's the Whip of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Many thanks for coming on the program. Let me quickly start before I bring you into the issue of restructuring and constitutional amendment. The budget 2017. 2016 was a tumultuous one in terms of the budgeting of this country. 2017, what is the atmosphere like? And a day that you're expecting the president, or the eve of the day the president will be presenting the nation's budget?
The atmosphere is positive. First, we have learned from the missteps of last year. I actually feel sad every time somebody talks about budget padding, just because the legislature made some alterations to the proposals of the budget. I think we should use that term only in respect to where there have been unscrupulous alterations of the proposal of Mr. President. Because the very best budget submitted by the President is only a proposal to the National Assembly. The Constitution makes it extremely clear that the National Assembly has the power to modify that proposal, to add to it in its wisdom, to delete from it in its wisdom, or to alter it, and in doing so to act in the best interest of the Republic. I think if you now have a few legislators meet outside of the main purview of Parliament to do their own thing, that is corrupt, that is criminal. And one would have wished that there would be a diligent prosecution of such individuals. But as for whatever the President will submit tomorrow or whenever in the future, until the current Constitution is altered, it remains just a proposal, because we don't have a monarchy. We don't have a one-man government.
Professor Adeyeye, if I quickly butt in here, I beg your pardon, a lot of issues like the constituency project really bothers some Nigerians who looked at that budget and are wondering why we should have constituency projects in the first place. But we understand that the lawmakers may insist on having the constituency project anyways.
Let me tell you, the constituency project has been given a very bad name, because most Nigerians believe that these are projects given to legislators to execute. That is, if I have 200 million or 300 million in the budget for my constituency, the fallacy and the myth is that that money is given to me to go and implement. That is not so at all. What it is that I, as the representative of my people, say there are areas where my people need federal government intervention.
A lot of people have thought that, look, there is a disparity between what the constituent unit get and the monthly begging from the state at the federal level is not really working for a federal system, such as what the former vice president raised. There is a constitution amendment going on right now. Are those being addressed in that document that is being doctored right now?
Fiscally, our current system has become a huge failure. The reason for that is that so many responsibilities are given to the federating units without corresponding resources being possessed by these federating units. It is the states that must take care of basic education, both primary and secondary school education. And almost in every instance as well, the states also have tertiary institutions. This alone consumes such a big part of the budget of the states and local government. By the time you add the budget for agriculture, for rural roads, for basic health, etc., what you find is that as it is right now, the cost of even administering these federating units are so burdensome that what are left are not sufficient to produce good governance at the levels of states. And that is why I commend the Vice President for bringing attention to this matter. But let's be honest with ourselves. Even if you were to give more money to the states, some of these problems will still persist. Because the truth of the matter is that there has been a lot of what I would call abuse of state creation in the history of Nigeria. Do we need 36 states? I don't believe we do. The cost of running 36 different entities are so enormous that what you have is so meager that you don't have enough resources to promote day-to-day development of the people.
Professor,
but what
Professor,
I'm hoping is that
if I may quickly butt in, it brings to the question that people always ask when we talk about Nigeria's federalism, that some of the best times in Nigeria's governance is when we ran the parliamentary system of government. Look at the First and Second Republic. People will say, do we continue to deceive ourselves that we're running a federal system of government at the detriment of those constituent units, or we should just revert to the parliamentary system of government?
You brought a different issue altogether. When the presidential system was created in Nigeria, it was with the idea that we will have a person who will symbolize the hopes, aspirations, and dreams of the Nigerian people. But so far, our experience has shown that that has not happened. I have regretfully regretted that we were wrong. I believe we should go back to the parliamentary system. I believe that this system we are running right now is way too expensive. I believe that if President Buhari right now were our Prime Minister, I will have access to him day after day, as will other members of Parliament. We will be able to question him day after day, as happens in most parliamentary systems in the world. But right now, only the aggressive parliamentarians will succeed in being able to have audience with our head of state.
If you're suggesting Senate Chief Whip, if you're suggesting that we go back to a parliamentary system of government, then one question would be, do we run a bicameral legislature then?
I don't care if we do or not. If we do, we can reduce the size of the Senate. If California was an independent country, it would be the 6th largest economy in the world. If Texas was an independent country, it would be the 8th largest economy in the world. And yet, both California and Texas have only 2 senators. Why does Osun or Bayelsa, or for that matter, Lagos or Kano, which are huge, need 3 senators? We can stream the number. We can also decide whether or not we want to even make Parliament a full-time proposition. What we had until the military came were part-time parliamentarians. Only the front benchers, the members of cabinet in Parliament, were full-time politicians. Most of those who are in the House of Commons in England also have their secular jobs. What we are saying is, it's for us to decide. I don't care whether we have 2 chambers within our Parliament. We can decide how to streamline costs That's what is most important.
Professor, moving forward now and bringing this conversation home, we are in an economic recession. And it brings to the fore the fact that we need to start to rethink our structure and our system in such a way that our economy should be balanced. In this sense, we should cut down on our expenses and the running of government. What would you suggest to your colleagues or to government on the way forward in the coming 1 year to get this nation out of recession?
One, I would suggest that as far back as 1978, Obafemi Awolowo went to the length and breadth of Nigeria, campaigning to the effect that Nigeria has the highest Ester code in the world. We've now found out we now have the second highest Ester code in the world. I believe Nigerian Ester code should be drastically slashed, so that if you must travel, the money that is spent of the limited resources of the nation as Ester code allowances will be much less than they are currently. Secondly, I believe that there are many gimmicks that we run right now. For example, when it comes to Christmas, you see many corporations and New Year who have advertisements congratulating the president, saying Happy New Year and Merry Christmas. Who gave them the authority for such advertisements? These are ways in which we waste money. There ought to be a prohibition, and we don't need a law to do that. All we need is a presidential fiat to say no ministry, no government parastatal can use federal funding any longer for such advertisement. So FRC will not do it, police will not do it, WAEC will not do it, JAMB will not do it. The money will be used to run exactly the missions of these government agencies and parastatals. Right. The same should follow suit at the state level.
Senate Chief Whip, this is where I will say order. That's what you always say when time is up at the floor of the Senate. Well, this is my own Alo chamber, and that's where we leave the matter today. Many thanks, Chief Whip of the Senate, Professor Olusola Adeyeye. Always a pleasure having you talk to us on Channels Television. And that's where we'll say a wrap on the program tonight. Many thanks for being such a great company. On behalf of the team, I'm Sean Kimaloye. Bye for now.